Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Geralyn Mashonga. I'm a product and strategy manager at Unite Mobis. I'm also an influencer in the automotive industry and an award-winning public speaker. Welcome to International Women's Day with Women Automotive Network. We have so many things today. Looking forward to a wonderful session with you guys. If you've been here, you know the drill. You know what I'm going to ask you. But if you're new here, I'm going to ask every single person watching where they're joining from. I am currently joining from Frankfurt am Main, Germany, which means I am Team Germany. This year's theme is Accelerate Action. What does that mean exactly? Before I get into that, I want to say or mention the countries of where people are watching from. Right now, we have, one second, I'll check in the comments. We have Daniel watching from the USA. We do have people, last year we had people from India, we had people from South Africa, and of course, people from the UK and Germany. Accelerate Action. What exactly is that? Accelerate Action means that we need to speed up the progress for women in the industry. We need to provide mentoring. We need to provide different programs to accelerate for women in the industry, young girls that are watching everything, and inspire them and empower them to be their best version of themselves. Today, we have so many people that are watching, that are hoping to learn and have something. And one thing that I encourage you to do is to say the country that you're watching from, where you work, and what you do that inspires you to network with people. We are, of course, Women Automotive Network. So we are watching Christiane from Germany, Sophie from the UK, Kaylee from the UK. Wow, we have so many people. What time is it over there? Oh, we are in the same time zone. Danielle from Detroit. We have Dortmund, Germany, Daisy. Ezel from Turkey. Wow, what an amazing network. We're also looking forward to hearing from our allies. So I'm hoping to see our allies writing where they're watching from as well. Now, without further ado, I would like to get started with our program. I'm going to leave it over to Geralyn to introduce our speaker, who is a vice president from Nissan Europe in marketing. I've already said too much, so I'm going to hand it over to Geralyn.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of our friends across the globe, and happy International Women's Day. While this session was originally scheduled to be live, we switched to a pre-recorded format, so as a result, unfortunately, won't have a live Q&A, but we appreciate your flexibility and understanding and are excited to share this insightful conversation with you. So officially, welcome to today's talk, Breaking Boundaries, Navigating a Global Career in the Automotive Industry. My name is Geralyn Gaines, and I am thrilled to be your host for today's interview. I am the founder of Keeping It G, which is a speaking practice focused on inspiring individuals and teams to embrace self-advocacy and unlock their full potential. So through my keynotes, workshops, and coaching, I help clients build confidence, improve communication, and foster strong relationships. And it is my pleasure to introduce our featured guest today, Mayra Gonzalez, who is the Divisional Vice President of Marketing Sales of Europe at Nissan Motor Corporation. Mayra is a visionary leader with a deep passion for mobility, innovation, and empowering others. And in her current role, she drives Nissan's electrification strategy across Europe, shaping the future of sustainable mobility. Her 25-year career in the automotive industry started with selling cars at a dealership and evolved into senior leadership roles across Latin America, Japan, the US, and Europe. She actually made history as the first woman to lead Nissan of Mexico, driving record-breaking success while championing diversity, inclusion, and female empowerment. Mayra's impact has been recognized by Forbes, Fortune, and Automotive News, highlighting her dedication to breaking barriers and transforming the industry. Now based in Paris, Mayra enjoys reading, cooking, and staying deeply connected to her roots and the next generation of talent. Welcome, Mayra.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And happy Women's Day.
Yes, yes, love it, love it. So let's get started just with the question. So, what pivotal moments or decisions shaped your journey from selling cars at a dealership to leading marketing and sales for Nissan of Europe?
Well, actually, it has been a long journey because you mentioned it. I began my journey, in this when I joined a car dealership because I wanted to buy a car. So I said I want to have a car so I can commute from the university to other places. And I found a job, and the job was to sell cars. That's it. No, so in that place, I knew my path. No, so I said that I had the first revelation of my life. That was to have gasoline in my veins. Now it's electrification. It's going to be electricity now because we are evolving as well. But I learned that this is a place that I wanted to go. Was fascinated. Was very different. And then I have the opportunity to join Nissan in Mexico. And when I started my career in that company, for me was clear. I wanted to reach the top position of the company. I didn't know by when, how, what I needed to do.
Yeah.
I didn't know, but I was very clear that I wanted to reach that position. So after, many positions, many hard work, and a lot of challenges, because I was a girl in a very male-dominated industry, learning from people who has been there forever. Even the dealerships, they are, by generations, so they know a lot of things and I was learning. So after many, many years, I was appointed the first female CEO in the auto industry in Mexico. And it's curious because at the time, the news was not that I was appointed the president. They never talk about my many years in the industry or my different positions. The news was that I was a woman. And then I reflect on that and all the lesson learned, And I said, okay, I gained that opportunity. So for me, this was a real achievement, a significant step in my professional journey, because then I have in a position where I can do, but also can have some impact,
Yes.
And talking about decisions, because you mentioned it, I made decisions all the time, and some changed my life. So every decision that I need to take is, if this decision is getting me closer to my objectives. If the answer is yes, let's go for it, and then we will figure out.
Yes.
I always said that when you are in front of the elevator, if the elevator opens, you need to get in, because if not, someone else will do it, and you will be there just looking how the floors goes. And then sometimes the elevator gets you up, sometimes down. But if you don't get in, you don't know. So always take the elevator.
Yes, that's so good, because it's like making sure that you step into the opportunity. So, because obviously you were the first, but you knew that you had to raise the bar, right? So what are some strategies that you implemented to drive success, and how did you ensure that they had long-term impact?
Yeah, but one thing is when you have the opportunity, just to get the position, and then you need to perform in the position,
Yes.
And in my case, I think the success of Nissan in Mexico at that time was not the result of one person or one factor. A success is always a combination of many things. But I focus on three specifically. First, the team, because you need to secure you have the best talent in each of the areas, no matter their gender, their age, their background, their nationality. I was the proof, because I was the youngest. I was a woman. I was Mexican. I'm still. I'm not planning to change. So, and looking and securing that diversity is key, because you have the opportunity to have. This is our strength as a company.
Right.
So if you are able to make that each member feels empowered, respected, and included, is when you really have the innovation, that you have the unique perspective. So the team to me was very important. The second one is to share the same vision, and a vision that was so simple that everybody can understand and everybody can understand, execute. Sometimes to be simple is difficult. I said this
That's so
even
true.
today. It's so difficult to be
Yes.
simple. So it's, but at the time for us was to be number one. That was the vision. The mindset is everything we do to be the number one.
Yeah.
I don't remember a time when we said, okay, we're going to do this activity or this strategy to be the number two. No, it's always the number one.
Yeah.
So you work as a team, not only internally, because it needs to be fully aligned with everybody at the time, with the dealers, with the suppliers, with the finance company. So it's always a win-win relationship. So we shared a vision.
Yeah.
And the third one is about our brand, because the brand is everything that we are. So, and if we have a strong brand, we can, translate much better our values and our purpose, no, to the final customers, to the market, to the society, to many areas. People believe sometimes that brand is only marketing and sales activity, but brand is a responsibility of the entire organization. So at the
Absolutely.
time, each function understood the importance and how they can translate in everything they do their values of our company through our actions, through our communication, through our products. So we can establish a very positive relationship with the brand and the customers.
Yeah.
And also, don't forget that Nissan in Mexico is the fourth largest operation for Nissan around the world,
Wow.
and is the place where the first factory outside Japan was established. So we said, like, Nissan, it's a proudly Japanese Mexican company. So we
I love
established
that.
a relationship with our customers. So I think that many things, but those are the three that I can highlight, no, as part of the
Yes.
success.
I love that. I love that. And I know you talked a lot about how important diversity and inclusion is to drive innovation. So can you tell me a little bit about your travels and the time spent in other regions and how you navigated different cultures and markets throughout your career?
Oh, that part is fascinating. I think it's the most rewarding part of my job, is that I had the opportunity to be exposed to many different cultures. I started in Mexico, then I went to the US, then I was responsible for Latin America, that have many, many countries. And then I was again in Mexico. Then I moved to Japan. And then now I'm here in Europe. So the beauty is that you learn from all. No? So every time I moved to a new country, I understood that I needed to fit and to adapt myself to that country, not the other way around.
Right.
No? Because if not, you get so frustrated, and you need to understand that you need to learn from the place. So it's always a challenge, not only for a woman, it's for everybody, for any individual. You change your language, no, unless you speak the language. I was not speaking Japanese, French. So the language, the food, the social rules, the professional rules, because the way to do business from one place to another is completely different.
Right.
So you change everything. And that's one part. But because we are integral individuals and part of families, no, many times also is a challenge for your family,
Yes.
because each individual, they have their different challenges. For example, my daughter at school, my husband, just to change jobs, just to do different activities. So everybody has a challenge, but that's a great opportunity and the beauty, because makes you much more resilient, more with a wider scope, like a wider understanding of the world.
Yes.
Much more respectful on the differences and the appreciation of all.
Yeah.
So I think always with curiosity, with respect, I always observe and then I act. No, because honestly, I made a lot of mistakes. No, funny stories. I have a lot, no? Because it's not because you want to do it, it's because you don't know and you are learning. So I learned to never assume, always to confirm my understanding,
Yes.
always ask. So, and on that you start to fit, you start to feel more comfortable, and then
Right.
you can contribute. So it's part of everything. But I think those experiences have given me much more resilience, as I said, flexibility, and a better understanding of how to do business in different cultural contexts. No? So that's
Yeah.
the takeaway.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And how would you say that those experiences influence your approach to leadership and to business development? Because it's one thing to be transferred to a different country, but it's another thing, like you said, to do business. How did those experiences influence your way of leading?
I think it's in many ways, because first I confirm the importance of the cultural agility and
Yeah.
adaptability, right?
Mhm.
So once that you understand the culture and the context, you can tailor your communication and your strategies. So when you understand the unique perspectives and priorities of each different regions, because you can have a global decision or a global direction, but how to adapt this to the region with the specificities, because it's not the same how you implement a strategy in the US that in Europe, or the adaptability in Mexico, or the if it's going to resonate or not in Latin America. So I think how to adapt that to the different contexts and navigate in the complexity, because sometimes it's a regulatory, sometimes it's the government, sometimes it's the economy itself. eh, Working uh, across multiple regions transform me, in my opinion, in a more empathetic, resourceful, and globally minded leader that, of course, can appreciate that even though the world is super connected, still we need to understand that there's some differences, and we need to use and just to take advantage of those. No?
Agreed. 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 I mean, because with diversity and inclusion being central to your advocacy, I mean, that permeates across the world, right? Not just where you're from, but in every
Yes.
single region that you've experienced. So can you tell us about how have these values translated into tangible outcomes within your team and within the wider organization?
Well, I have to say that I'm a truly believer of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and that's what I'm here. That's what I'm talking to you,
Yes.
and because I feel very lucky to work in a company that promotes the same values. So when you share the same, you can do. But I think the company, and even myself, we understand that this is a constant effort. No, requires consistency, requires education, requires just to bring the topic in the agenda. So personally, in every role that I have, I have had in the past, I try to reflect these values in specific actions, because it's not just to say, it's that you
Right.
need to do.
To do.
So, for instance, in Mexico, we created the first diversity committee with clear objectives. So, training, visibility, KPIs. I said diversity needs to be as important as market share or
Yes.
profit,
Yes.
because the individuals that are driving those results in the end needs to be so powerful, and diversity, it's a lever to do that. No, in Japan, we created the first support group. It's just to have a safe environment where people can share, because you know what, it's very curious is that in every place I go and I talk with women, different generations, we share the same concerns.
Yeah.
We share very similar challenges. We are worried about the same things. So when you have this support group and you can freely talk about those challenges and to learn from the others and to exchange, sometimes it's easier. It's
Yeah.
not a formal, a group. It's just like a support group with all the people just sharing. So I think was very successful. And I personally promote diversity and inclusion with universities. I love to talk about with new generations. I do that very much with in Mexico and Latin American universities and companies,
Yeah.
because I like to be a role model for them, because if they
Yeah.
don't see, they don't believe.
Right.
So, and I think it's also part of my responsibility, no? Not
Yeah.
only to be an active mentor, but also just to give someone back. But I
Yes.
have to say that even here in Europe, Nissan has incredible initiatives. So we have this resourceful group, no, the employees resource group that we
Yeah.
call. For example, in the UK, the Nissan Pride and Disability. Or we have a Gen Z group also because we have different generations working in the same building. So this is to foster the intergenerational collaboration
Yes.
because it's very different. Or
Yes.
manufacturing,
Yes, that's true.
manufacturing is a different world. And
Mhm.
we have plants in India, we have plants in Spain where our female employees, they are introducing the auto industry to young girls.
Yeah.
I mean, and they show how amazing could be, no?
Yeah.
So there's so many activities just to bring and just to close the gap, no, between in that part generations, women, different groups to getting closer to Nissan, and in this case the auto industry, no.
Yeah.
So many activities. So it's walk the talk, no. So
Yes, yes, yeah. That's so good. And I love that you're talking about, we talked a little bit about resilience early on in the conversation because being the only in certain situations, it requires resilience, right? Like you are setting a high bar for yourself, but you also have to deliver on your objectives like we spoke about. But how would you say that resilience has played a role in your career, and how have challenges or moments of doubt contributed to your growth?
well, resilience has been crucial to my personal and professional
Yeah,
journey. That's for sure, because the higher you climb, the more challenges you face, and sometimes you are alone, right?
mhm,
So you are with yourself. So I started in this male dominated industry, as I say, 25 years ago, where the expectations for women in Mexico, also because it's unique, no, because the cultural, context, were very different. So I was the only one for many years. I was the only one, no, in the table. I was the only one working in the auto industry. I was the first one doing something. So sometimes I needed to demonstrate constantly. I need to work with men that double my age. I needed to learn faster. I need to, to speak up. I need just to have my place in the table. So yes, at the beginning, I encountered a lot of biases, no, as a woman, because people could question my place and my abilities or my skills, and even I doubted myself sometimes. So I felt this imposter syndrome, but I think that gave me the courage just to keep on going and just to demonstrate and just to rely on my team and just to make things and just to show, and that makes you stronger. So all these experiences together is give you a lot of resilience, and in the end, every time you have a different challenge is easier because you have been there. So it's one challenge at the time.
thank you so much, Myra, just for sharing that. Can you tell us a little bit about like what legacy do you hope to leave behind for the next generation of women leaders within the automotive industry?
Oh, that's a good one, because when you talk about legacy, is that everything that you have been working for needs to be translated in something. But I will say that needs to be about access and self-belief. Access, because I wished that at the time I started, I could have more access now to mentors, to sponsorships, to training. I was being promoted sometimes not knowing what's next. No, know the training that now you are going to be the boss of your peers, no, of your different groups. So I think it's just to give that access, just to give that visibility, people to believe and just to compete. Because in the end, this is a business. But if you have the tools to compete, you are going to be much more prepared.
Yeah.
So that's from one side, and the second one is from self belief, because you can have the access, you can have the training, you can have a great sponsor, uh, but you don't believe in yourself.
Right.
And I have noticed that sometimes women, we don't feel 100% ready or enough, no,
Yeah.
to raise the hand or just to ask for a promotion or just to disagree,
Yeah.
no, because actually it could be cultural in some cases because we are not taught how to compete, no,
Right.
you need to compete
Yeah.
and how do you gain your place. So on this self-belief, so I don't want my legacy to be measuring how many cars I sold, but my legacy needs to be how many leaders I supported, how many doors I opened, how many women I supported to be
Yeah.
the best version of themselves.
Yes. It's all about impact, right? I mean, like you were talking about the brand, and brand is not just about sales and marketing, it's about how you show
Yes.
up in the world. So I love that. That's beautiful. So,
Yeah.
and so I want to know if you have any like personal anecdotes or any advice or guidance that you would give to women aspiring to work at Nissan and beyond. So not just the self-belief, but what else? Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our audience today?
Well, I think they need to have a clear vision about what they want to do and what is success for, I mean, for them. Because
Right.
success, everybody talk about success,
Yeah.
no? But what is success? To me, is super personal definition.
Yes.
So success can be many different things. So in my case, I never let the society to define what is going to be my success. So I define my success in the way that I feel the impact that I can have, even just to put me in a position to be out of my comfort zone.
Good.
And since I did it many times,
Yeah.
every time I changed jobs, every time I changed from a different country, I put myself on purpose to be out of my comfort zone. But for me, that's success
Yes.
because I'm able to thrive in
Yeah.
different cultures, in different contexts, in different times. No, so I think that first to define your own success.
Yeah.
Don't compare yourself to anyone. That's the worst thing that you can do.
Yeah.
Have a clear vision of what you want, and then what are the steps that you need to follow to get there.
Yes.
And you need to have a network, you need to have sponsors,
Yes.
you need to have access to education and trainings and information and everything to make you stronger and to be able to compete. So once you put everything together, you can aspire to everything. So if you, I always say that dreams comes true, but you need to work upon of them. It's
Yes.
not like a suddenly they happen.
Yes.
No, you need to work towards your dreams, and dreams come true
Yeah.
if you do that.
I love that. I love that. That's a mic drop moment right there. I love it. I love it. Just thank you so much, Mayra, for sharing your incredible journey with all of us, and your passion for innovation, empowering others is truly inspiring, and it just shines through as you spoke to all of us. And we just look forward to seeing how you shape the future of the industry. And I just want to say thank you too to all the folks that joined us today. Your time is appreciated, and we hope that you leave this session feeling inspired to embrace your own journey. And I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your International Women's Day.
Thank you very much. See you soon. Thank you.
That was such an, I learned so much. That was such an innovative, just everything that Mayra was talking about, from having goals, having your objectives, and actually working and performing for your goals. That's really important. And I think one thing that I took from her, from the discussion of breaking barriers, was definitely being flexible. I relate so much to her conversation of moving abroad and, experiencing different cultures. So I want everybody watching and joining to write in the comments what they've learned from Myra's discussion today on breaking barriers. And without further ado, I want to introduce our next panel, which is a comparison of ERGs and sharing the best practices. I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves because they're so amazing. Okay, I'll start with you, Ezo.
Thank you, Geralyn and Women Automotive Network for this kind invite. So I am Isil Mertoğlu, Senior Environmental Health and Safety manager at Adient, responsible for EMEA region. I am leading EHS strategies and fostering a world-class organizational culture with 20 years of experience in multinational companies. I have been in automotive industry with Adient for 12 years now. Adient is a global automotive seating producer which employs approximately 30,000 people across EMEA in 76 locations, 20 countries, and I am based in Turkey. I am a strong advocate of diversity and inclusion. Today, I am representing EMEA Women's Resource Network of Adient as a founding member. And I also very excited. I am very excited to being part of this panel discussion and sharing Adient best practices. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Sophia and then Oksana.
So it's me, right? Okay, no, it's good. Hello, everyone. I'm really pleased and honored to be here in this panel. And as I said, it's really great to celebrate International Women's Day at such a large scale and with so many women across the automotive industries. I'm Oksana Grishina. I call myself a change maker. It's a kind of an essence of all the different job titles that I had across my extensive automotive experience and career over 20 years, working for many multiple and very well-renowned automotive brands, where I've been driven commercial growth through positive change transformation. And my focus has been always on commercial growth through different strategies around innovation of retail, automotive retail, of business models, working with franchise dealer networks, establishing partnerships on international scale, but also driving some really big transformational programs to help business to turn around and also to manage the risks. And today I at Hyundai Motor UK, which I think everyone knows and doesn't need to be introduced, but is one of the biggest brands in the automotive world. I drive the transformation of the information security organization, making sure that the business is protected from cybersecurity and data breach risks and salty penalties, securing the commercial success. I am passionate about many things, but one of them is the sustainable mobility, which is accessible, affordable, and environmentally friendly. And I've been working on electrification for quite a lot of years. On another hand, I'm very passionate about supporting women advancement in the leadership positions in the automotive industry through my mentoring work. And I've been with Women Automotive Network since inception, and I started as a mentee and learned a lot, received a lot of benefits from this mentoring program, and decided to be a mentor. So I'm really honored and humbled to receive a Mentor of the Year from the network last year. So I'm here today to support the conversations. Thank you.
Thank you. And Sophia?
Okay, so hello everyone. I'm very happy to be in this panel discussion here. So thank you, Women Automotive Network. So I live in France, and I'm an IT project manager, mainly involved in change management project in the recent years. Before I had a career in IT for the last 20 years, and also in other positions before. But I've been working for Bosch for more than 30 years now. And I think everyone knows the company Robert Bosch. So we are international company with more than 400,000 employees worldwide, so with many subsidiaries all over the world. And since the last 10 years, I have the pleasure to be involved in our female network, so our employee resource group, Women at Bosch. So this is, and as you can see here in my background, so Women at Bosch is celebrating their 30th anniversary this year. So this is the first employee resource group of Bosch. So I'm very proud to be the current spokesperson. And this involvement with women led me 3 years ago to train, and now in addition, I'm also a certified and a business and life coach.
Wow, that's amazing. I think today we have such an amazing collective, experience in so many years, and I'm looking forward to also learning and partaking in this conversation today. So we're going to get started and just get right into the panel with the first question. So, what exactly are ERGs for somebody who's watching for the first time? They have no idea what this even stands for. What values do they bring to the employees and the employers? So, who would like to go first? I think as always, yeah.
Okay, so I can give a definition also how we apply it in Adient. Employees resources groups are volunteer groups of Adient employees who shares common interests. So these are the groups which we can come together, network, exchange experiences, and business related also ideas which are even beyond our professional area. And also, we can access very valuable professional development programs like mentoring programs, as you mentioned, and also talent development programs. These are really the networks that you can broaden your horizon, gain new skills, and also visibility. And therefore, it adds a value to our colleagues, but not only. At the same time, it's a great value to the company because it increases the sense of belonging and connection in between the employees, and also creates an environment that fosters a speak-up culture. Help you to bring your authentic self to your work, which is critical for business results, but also it's important for retaining the talent in the organization, right? So it's a win-win situation for our colleagues and also organization, which we feel valued, and also feel that we are also influencing the diversity and inclusion topics as well. We have surveyed with these ERG activities how much it influenced the diversity and inclusion within the organization, right? And we see vital signs of strong improvement in overall employee satisfaction, awareness, belonging, psychological safety, and also authenticity. So it's really valuable for both employees and the organization.
And does anyone else want to chime in, or can I? Because I already have a question for you as well. Oksana or Sophia?
Yeah, I think Azel just described all the key values that the ARGs can bring to the business and the employees. And I think from business perspective is that it's it needs to be clear that it's not something optional. I would say it's actually it needs to be part of business culture and change management process, because the groups bring boost engagement, as you said, and also reinforce the brand image outside of the company, because having those groups sends really a positive message to people outside.
Yeah, totally agree with that. And what I like about what you said is it's a group of people it's a group of volunteers. So we have people coming together because they have a passion, also because they see an issue and they say, okay, maybe we can do something about it, and they try to find solutions to offer something to the table. And this is what really I like it, because usually these people, they do this on top of their regular job. And they do it really because they are convinced that they can change something about the topic. For example, Women at Bosch was started 30 years ago. So Bosch is a Germany-based company. So the network started in Germany, in Stuttgart mainly, and there the culture or the childcare. The ladies, they had issues and said, let's do something about it. And they advocated to the management to see, okay, can you help concerning childcare, concerning other job, like job sharing or part-time working. So really, they advocated and they came together to find solutions to their issues. And yeah, I love that.
That's very interesting, actually. So, for me, picking up from everything that you all have said, would you say it's similar to work council? How does it differentiate to the work council in the workplace? Because usually the work council is there to advocate for obviously the employees, right? So, how can you differentiate?
The differentiation I would see here that people that they live, so they can share about the experiences and really advocate for themselves, and also to help find solutions on their own. So this is indeed the workers' council, and there are other instances that will help. But when someone is coming, look, people, this is the situation I live, and the people around you, your management, the HR department, they do see, okay, this is your experience. So this is an additional motivation for them also to support you. And also this is the bond that will be created between the people and between the women, because I'm involved in a female network, but this creates a bond between the women. So, okay, I'm not alone in what I live. There are other ladies who live the same, and we can also share best practices, and only the exchange is good. Have some women, so we are in an automotive industry, someone will say, oh, I'm the only woman in a meeting or in my department, and this feels so good when I can come and speak with other ladies. So if only for networking, resource groups are so important.
Okay, that sounds really interesting. Just 1 second, I want to ask the public that are joining us today, please feel free to ask questions. Everyone's here to answer questions, and if you want to chime in as well, feel free, and I can ask the ladies while they're here. So I'll move on to the next question. Next question, which is, how can one get started in ERG? So let's say your organization does not have this group, and it's the first time you're also hearing about it. How can one get started, and what challenges and successes can we expect to find if we're thinking of starting? So
I can share a bit on that one, because indeed Women at Work started first in Germany, and then afterwards the network spread out, and now it's also an international initiative with more than 90 local chapters in 30 countries. So we started in France 10 years ago, and so my recommendation here would be to have a group, maybe even a smaller group of people who would start. So it's important that you're not alone in that, because it's a volunteer work, so it can get heavy. So to have a group of people, motivated people, who will come together. What do we want to do? Because maybe the issues, what is important for the women in your country, are not the same if you're in a different part of the world. So to have this brainstorming first, to see, okay, what do we want to do to align on the vision? For example, for Women at Bosch, we have a vision. So we want to network, we want to empower women worldwide, regardless of their career, where they stand, and so on, but could be different in other parts of the world. Maybe the leaders, they have other concern or issues. So to be clear on that, because an employee resource group or even a female network can have different flavors. Do you want to do charity? Do you want to focus on ladies in leadership? So we need to be clear on that, to have a kind of understanding. And then to find a sponsor. I think it's very important to have someone high up in the organization, possibly the plant manager, the CEO. I was very happy when Mayra shared before. I took a lot of notes. I loved what she said. So you need to have a sponsor on high level. Someone who really believes, not only lip service, like Mayra was saying, not only saying, but doing. So really someone who is convinced about gender diversity, or whatever the topic you choose, because energy could be about something else, and to have their support, because you will need time. If you do this work, this volunteer work, on top of your work, you need some time for that. So it's difficult to have a dedicated capacity for that. But when you have this sponsorship, this support from the the CEO, maybe could be the HR person, whatever. In our case for Bosch, we have a member of the management, the board of Bosch as our sponsor. So this helps a lot to drive some topics. So when you have a group of people, you have the sponsoring, then you can decide how do you want to start. You can invite, in our case, we had a big event where we invite people, make surveys, also to have some ideas, okay, what is helpful for you? So they are, I can speak for me at Bosch, but I think this is the same also in other companies. Some will offer workshops, so to help people on their personal development, career development. For Man at Bosch, we even have some monthly event, and in some recent workshops, we had 800 people joining.
Wow.
Women, but not only women, so we keep it open. It's a network, women for women, but we invite men. We want to be inclusive.
Yeah.
So could be personal career development, could be charity work. Some people, they will do charity work. Last year we ran together, so we had a sport event. We came together. We ran in Paris, in France. It was great. Could be networking, as I said. Sometimes the women, they need to come together and be able to share openly in a safe space about their issues. So for me, for networking, could be a breakfast in the morning, could be a common dinner. Yeah, different activities are possible.
I think that sounds,
And-
when you put it in that way, it sounds really interesting and exciting, especially when you consider the younger generation. If we're talking constantly about, work, 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 I think sometimes we need to include all the fun aspects of what they can gain, and what they can learn as well. I think Essel, you wanted to edit something in, so I'll give it to you.
I would like to also share my personal experience, because when I founded Women's Resource Network in EMEA, I had that dream, and I would like to really create the work environment that I would like to work in. And like Maya shared a few minutes ago with us, I had my vision, communicated my vision clearly with my colleagues. And when it is really reached to the people, what you value, what you want to bring to the people and business, you see that more people joining you, and it's and over time you can have chance to access more people by creating value with your initiatives to the people and the organization as well. Right now, when I am looking back right now, I see really a strong engagement on digital platforms from any gender colleagues to the diversity and inclusion topics. High attendance to the events, which these events not only focusing on women, but also helping us to create an inclusive work environment, help us to collaborate better, which is really the key elements that we are looking for in the workplace, right? And so each year I am experiencing that inclusion, that engagement increases, which also fascinates me. I think when you don't have a ERG in your organization, and if you want a change, just be a volunteer. Do not hesitate. Be the change.
Yeah. What I can add is that it's not necessarily you want to start with the women dedicated, resource group, but it can be just a, general inclusive group, social kind of social team. For example, we have in Hyundai Motor UK, we have a social team. That's the team that's been created out of volunteers who just decided that let's come together and create opportunities for networking, for social interaction between different teams, and it's very much inclusive, open to anyone. And it's also happening in a fun and engaging way. So it's kind of providing really interesting space, but also a space where people can decide themselves whether they engage or not, and choose the activities that relate to their interests in that particular moment. So that's from my perspective, kind of could be a starting point for anyone who wants to create such employee group in a business or in an organization. And then it can, using that as a vehicle to build up additional elements, to bring mentoring, to bring, additional events, or having different conversations, career development conversations for everyone. So I see that this is another way of doing.
That's really, so that's, I feel like, Oksana, I work for the Unite group as well. And so I feel like I can relate to you in a lot of things because we're in the same, same group. I want to go into some of the questions that are coming. So we have an ally here today, Carl Anthony, and he asks, what can men do better to support women in the automotive industry? And how can we be better allies and supporters? So Sophia, we can start with you.
There are different ways. So to be by being sponsors first, depending on their position in the company, for example, by being supporters. So yeah, sometimes there are some people that might think, okay, some women are coming together for a female network meeting. Maybe they are discussing about cooking. So to have to be open, to join the conversation, because sometimes we invite some men, some will come, so others will not. So to be supportive, this is already to be open, to join the conversation, to join the events, to show openness, and depending on your position, to be supportive. If you have women in your department, promote them, listen to them. Be mindful that women sometimes they might not react like men. Maybe you have a very good employee, a female employee in your group. She doesn't ask for a raise. Maybe you can ask yourself why. What can you do about it? Because we know sometimes women, they will wait. Men will be. So I don't want to be in any prejudices here, but sometimes women tend not to ask pay raises. So to support them, if they don't ask, offer them something. This is already one way to do it.
Yeah, I think it's really great example, Sophie. If I think about mentoring, right? So I think men can be really good mentors for women who are aspiring to enter this, let's say, male-dominated world, and learning from a man how to deal with men in how to deal with different stakeholders is really important. So being a mentor, giving advice and practical advice, and as you mentioned, being a sponsor. A sponsor is to not only promote this organization, but also to actively recruit women into the organization. I know it's a big challenge for certain technical roles, but it's kind of trying every time harder and harder to assess every candidate that's coming into the pipeline.
And for the men, I think there is a role for every man in the organization. You can be in the decision-making role, which you can promote, support women, provide with your experiences, mentoring. But also, you can be a colleague, a peer to your female colleague, which you can also support an inclusive discussion. You create also psychological safety for everyone, that everyone can speak up, right? I think there is a role and responsibility for everyone to create this inclusive work environment.
I think, everything that you guys have said is really important, and it matches very well. Yesterday we had our International Women's Day at Mobis that I hosted, and I think the numbers were nearly 50-50 with the men and the women that joined. And I was really shocked at how many men were willing to come and support, and it just felt like an open door. When we sent the invitation, we ensured that we highlighted that everybody can come. Everybody bought food, everybody was sharing, everyone was taking part, and they were contributing. And they were even saying that they've learned so much things. We even had managers that said things that they would not have thought about before that women go through were mentioned. And I thought that was insane, because I was like, oh my god. And I also learned that I need to voice out, speak, and try, if I can, and try and find somebody, even if it's a colleague, that can speak up for me. Because if I also keep quiet, then how are they supposed to know? So we also have to sort of try and meet each other in the middle, and pass the baton, and it can be a back and forth collaboration. So we've also got a question from Susie Rafferty. Hopefully, I'm saying your surname correctly. She says, "What do you feel is the best way to establish ERGs, and should they happen organically, or should they have been formally set up by HR or EDI committee?"
Mm-hmm. Maybe I can give an example also here, some best practices from Adient as well. So in our organization, very formally founded these structures. We have 4 ERGs for young professionals, diversity and inclusion, technology, professional society, and women's resource network. But we work closely with diversity and inclusion council, and we work very closely with our top management sponsors. This helps really continuity on the topics, and also impact on the results. So you can monitor, you can see also how it is going within the organization. But there is one best practice I can share, that we have D&I champions across EMEA locations, which helps our corporate activities or strategies adapted in local level. So when we are talking about like 20 countries, we need to also localize all these activities, respecting their culture, respecting their demographics as well, right? And the D&I champions are the key enablers for this. And we develop together also the content, we take their feedback, so it's a both ways communication in between. And also we take the feedbacks coming from them, which defines our future initiatives as well. So it's a very formal, but also very very inclusive organization that we have, which provides continuity and persistence on this topic as well.
Totally agree. Yeah, obviously this depends of your company culture and the habits in your company, but I can only encourage to be in contact with HR and with DI, definitely to have some common activities and to be sure to work in the same direction, because otherwise it might be a bit weird for the employees. In our case, we have a great relationship with the DI, regular contact touch points. Also, I know in some local chapters they get the funding from HR, from the DI, so I can only recommend here a collaboration and to work in the same direction, because for me this is also a success factor for an ERG, that your activities are in line with the company's strategy and with the company's focus.
Yeah, I can only echo this, because the ERGs, especially within the diversity and inclusion space, will definitely support diversity and equity and inclusion strategy and goals, achievement of the goals. And it's a smart business strategy to have these groups in a business and sponsor them. So yeah, that's probably the best route to go.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, but you can challenge them sometimes. You feel maybe in some area, maybe you need some more support. Maybe they're not fast on topic. You can challenge them too.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you for answering Susan's questions. Does anyone else have anything else to add before I move on to our next topic? Okay. So our next topic is mentoring. So we know that Women Automotive Network offers mentoring. Whether you can be a mentor or you can receive mentoring. So I just wanted to ask, how does mentoring benefit the employee? How do mentoring programs benefit people that either mentor or are receiving mentoring? So, Oksana.
Yeah, I'll start. I think mentoring programs, it's I definitely experienced on my, personally the effect of mentoring programs, and I'm still continuing to be mentee even if I'm a mentor, because I still believe there are a lot of challenges or areas that I can improve, I can learn from other people. So mentors provide practical advice, practical support to women or anyone in how to navigate particular challenges at work, or help them to provide clarity on their career development, how to get additional skills. So for me, mentoring is more about how to do things, right? So it's very practical. For mentees, as I said, is the learning from the mentor. For mentors themselves, actually learning from mentees, and I see again, I have also two reverse mentors mentees relationship as well, because I can learn myself from the younger generations about maybe technology, about how the younger generations want to engage with the world of work, their different aspirations, and it's really important. And I think from to put in place the efficient mentoring program in the organization is not the easy task, because the most important success criteria for the mentoring program is to be able to offer, to be able to match properly the mentee and mentor in terms of their interests, in terms of their skills, in terms of their personalities. And if the organization is small, it's really clearly difficult to find, a significant number of mentors who would be, aligning with the mentees' profiles. And I also see personally again where the matching is not it's not done properly. The relationship between mentee and mentor doesn't work. Another element I think I would like to highlight from the successful mentee and mentor relationship is that mentor, the good mentor can create the space, open space, space for difficult conversations where the mentee can be free to talk about anything that's going on. Sometimes it's not easy to create this type of environment for the internal mentoring, with an internal mentoring program. And if the situation is quite critical for the mentee, they may need to look for external or cross industries mentoring program, where there is on one side a bigger choice of mentors available. On another side, there is a little bit less constrained about talking about certain topics. Yeah, I don't know if you want to add anything.
Agree with that. Yeah, please. Sorry, Izzy.
No, it's okay. So I would like to add that we are all lifelong mentees, right? Even we are mentoring, reverse mentoring, or even we are a mentee. So it's a lifelong journey for all of us, because there is always a better way to see things that we cannot see, or also help that clear our pathway, right? And that's a never-ending journey. There's always an opportunity to learn for all of us as well.
Yeah,
Totally agree with that. Yeah, probably with Bosch being an international company with 400,000 guys, we have some more matching opportunities. And speaking about an ERG filling the gap, so 3 years ago. So because really mentoring is one lever in career development. So that's why for us it was important 3 years ago to start. So we looked around what are the different opportunities. So there was some mentoring locally. And then within Women at Bosch, we said, okay, let's start something. and we started an international mentoring program. And the first year we had nearly 300 tandems, between mentees and mentors. Second year, the same 200. And this year, we set a record. We have more than 400 tandems that we could build. And in this case, even if the matching was maybe not tailor-made as we wanted, still the feedback we get is so positive, as you are saying, Oksana, that mentoring is a positive relationship. It's a win-win relationship for both the mentee and the mentors. They both learn from each other. And as you were saying, Izia, that we are constant learners, definitely. And we even have some mentors. So definitely this is where male leadership can support us. We have some mentors. They've been our mentors for 3 programs in a row, because it's a 1-year mentoring, 3 years in a row. So really, there are some people who are keen to support each other's. And also reverse mentoring, as you were mentioning, Oksana. We started also a reverse mentoring program 2 years ago, a smaller program, but still the idea was to let some ladies shine, because we have female experts, so to break the biases about women in technical fields. And so the female experts will mentor senior executives, really top management within Bosch. And here the same, the feedback are very positive. And so yeah, I can only encourage people to join, to find a mentor on their own or with a group. And in both cases, mentees like mentors, it is really beneficial.
And I just want to add that in a different life stage or for the different questions, you might actually need a different mentor, right? So it's not set in stone that you kind of continue relationship for years with one person. It's more about evolving your interest or your challenges evolving, and that means that you may need to look for a more appropriate person who can help you with that challenge. And again, as my experience is that I have had different mentors who would be supporting me in more management, on a management kind of leadership side, developing leadership skills, or other mentors would be helping with more technical knowledge, how to navigate new areas. As Mayra was saying, sometimes you have to jump into completely new area of the business of the organization, and you don't have enough knowledge of it, so you can go and look for people who can support with technical knowledge, with practical advice.
I completely agree with you, Sana.
Me too.
I want to speak a little bit of my mentoring experience. So I call it a board of mentors. So I have a board of mentors for different aspects of challenges that I face in my career, also in my personal life, from technology, the technologies that I manage at work. I have a mentor for each of them, my career, even my automotive influencing career that I do. I also have a board of mentors and also sponsors that sponsor me in each department of my life. So I completely agree with you that it's sort of like a give and take. While I'm mentoring the younger generation, I also, at some point I also need help for certain things. It's an ecosystem. So we have to work together. So Sophia, you wanted to say something? Sorry, I cut you off.
No, not at all. I just wanted to add that we had some tandems started as reverse mentoring. So a lady maybe in AI or Gen AI, and then the relationship was so good that they turned, and then the mentee, so the senior executive, became the mentor for the women, for example. So there are different situations, and indeed many success stories. So ladies motivated to take the next step in their career. And just the fact that you have someone who is there for you, listening to you, this is empowering for the ladies participating in the mentoring programs. Yeah.
And I just want to highlight that the Women Automotive Network starts again on the 8th of June. So for anybody who's interested in joining, in fact, I recommend you to join. You must join. It's an amazing opportunity for you to either be a mentor or to be a mentee. Now, I want to go into our next question, which is inspiring the younger generation. So how can we deliver support to the younger generation? one thing that Mayra mentioned was going to schools, speaking at schools, and participating. In Germany, we have a day called Girls. No, I think this is international actually. Girls' Day, but they call it Mint, the German version of STEM. And how can we inspire and support the younger generation? How do you guys personally do it?
Yeah, I think I could go in because I'm really happy that for this year, for this International Women's Day, that together with my HR colleagues, we'll launch these sessions that we call Taste of Mentoring in the organization, just to introduce the mentoring topic to our female colleagues first of all, to learn them, what is it all about, and see whether they can benefit, and encourage them to go and look for the mentoring opportunities. It's not necessarily, you don't need to start, to spend a lot of time to try to set up a mentoring program in the business if it doesn't exist now, but it's actually trying to start talking to younger generations, especially, that these are the different tools and channels available for them to, to learn and to grow. And as you mentioned, going to universities or even going to the schools, right, to have a conversation with young girls like my daughter, that they're currently now they're thinking what they would like to be when they will grow, and at that point actually we need to introduce the excitement about automotive industry, excitement about different opportunities that they can have if they learn maths, just do their homework to, so to be able then to progress and enter that industry.
Mm-hmm. I think being a role model, inspiring and encouraging our young professionals, girls, is really the way we give back to our community. Girls' Day is one of it, but also across EMEA in different locations, relevant to local cultures and initiatives. We really foster this. This is the way we give back to our community also.
Yeah, totally second that. This is something that is time consuming, and I would like to do more really in that on the topic, because I do believe that the younger we can motivate the ladies, then we can really show them, okay, be role models, as we were saying, and show them, yeah, you can make a career, you can make your career in automotive industry or in other male-dominated industries, maybe where they won't think about at first. But yeah, I would say that this is not something I can really do at the moment because it's time consuming. But I do it on a smaller scale with the girls around me in the family circles with friends, or whenever I will meet a young lady, I will tell them, please have dreams, look for the moon, learn English, okay, really the sky is the limit.
Mm-hmm. I want to read some of the comments that I have here from Alois. Mutiswa said, always great insight from Oksana and amazing reflections from everybody. The allyship Sophia mentioned is something we need to learn to do and get better in. Super practical ideas. Carl says, thank you. Juliet Kanyumi from South Africa, wow, said, inspired by you ladies. And Geralyn, who was here earlier, said, happy International Women's Day. And, Tanya Frame said, mentoring is an important aspect and appreciate the opportunity. And I completely agree, because we can all learn from everybody. It's a give and take, and I think life is a constant learning curve. We're constantly learning, right? So one thing that I want to add on is, I know that going to schools can take a lot of time, as you said, Sophia. But one thing that I've done personally is I have taken the time to learn TikTok so I can mentor in a different way that attracts the younger generation. No, I'm not dancing on there, but I'm speaking practical. So I simplify automotive technology. I speak in terms where they would understand, and just find a way to motivate the younger generation in a different way. So I always find that there's different strategies of mentoring, indirectly or directly. So that's one of the ways that if anyone was wondering, they could do it. I'd like to move on to a slightly different topic, same ERG, so slightly different from mentoring, and which is when it comes to ERGs, could you address the other forms of how ERGs can be beneficial? And we spoke of mentoring, so we want to hear other ways of how ERGs can be beneficial. Sophia, we can start with you.
Yeah. So definitely with the different activities, we mentioned mentoring, reverse mentoring, networking, because also for your career development, you need to know people, you need to be visible, you need to be seen beyond your own group or department. And also another aspect I see related to networking is that to thrive in a company, you need connections. You need to have friends, or if not friends, people when you have an issue can go get together, go to the coffee machine and vent out maybe for some minutes. We need that. And I even came across an article some time ago. I think it was a Gallup study where they say that it's so important for employees to have connections and or even friends. It's good for the people, so for the well-being of the employees in the company, and it's good for the company. It's good for the productivity. It's good for the retention, because if you feel good in a company, and you will stay longer. And a network, an ERG, is definitely contributing on that regard.
And Okora, SL, would like to add or?
Yeah, networking is key. Actually, I can really echo here. I'm looking back now, the experience I have also with my steering committee members, that yes, making friends that supports almost each day each other, but also making your professional life also easy to
Yes.
find solutions for your day-to-day business problems, making connections with people that you would like to reach out to run your daily business, right? So it's all investment for, yes, professional life, but also personal development, because I can say definitely while leading a ERG, you learn skills outside of your profession. You really go out of your comfort zone. You gain these skills, and you also later on adapt them to your professional life as well. It's a great learning opportunity, professional and personal development opportunity. Broaden your horizons, and in my case, that's an EMEA-wide network that I am leading, which is really a fascinating opportunity to know more cultures, understand, and also reflect.
Totally agree with that. Yeah. Since I'm in women at Bosch, so I've extended my network. So I'm in contact with ladies and with men, so with people on other locations in France, in Europe, worldwide, even in the US, in South America, in Asia, even. So defining this really helps for connections. And I love what you said concerning the skills, because indeed. There are some skills that you might apply if you're in a core team. So organizing some events could be, events planning, coordination, facilitation in a meeting that you might not learn, for example, if you're an engineer in a technical field. So definitely on the personal point of view, this helps you a lot also to grow personally when you're contributing in an ARG. So I completely agree with that.
Yeah, I would just add that engaging into different activities that are kind of different to your professional or technical side can stimulate creativity and innovation, right? So it's taking pause from what you're doing, engage with something else, regenerate your kind of your mindset and your brain, and then go back into business and actually deliver much more better and more innovative ideas. That I see it as another benefit.
Totally agree. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, even communication. I mean, maybe you have to communicate about your event. You put a blog post somewhere, or you learn about TikTok, like you were referring to. Yeah, and in my case, I mean, since I'm the spokesperson of Women at Bosch, I had the opportunity to meet with board members, so really members of the board of management of Bosch, probably I would never had this opportunity if I was not in a spokesperson of Women at Bosch, and meet with them. I mean, really discuss with them, not just hello, really to be in a meeting with them, to exchange with them. For example, our reverse mentoring, we started it after in discussion with one of our board member, Mr. Fisher, and the mean friends. So there are really connections that you can make when you are in a employee resource group.
I completely agree. I think I totally relate when I started speaking about car technology in the most simplest terms and just, putting my thoughts down. I ended up being invited to international conferences to speak, and I met so many people. I've learned so much from every single person, every single interaction, because everyone comes from different countries. They have, different experiences. So in that, when Mayra was speaking earlier, I was like, okay, I really relate to everything that she is saying. So I also want to read one last comment, and we have to close because of our time. We've had such an. I want to ask each and every one of you to say one thing to leave that's going to leave everyone watching, thinking and reflecting. So Michelle Baker says, confidence is not static. It only grows, develops, and expands when you regularly go beyond, and it grows, develops, and expands when you regularly go beyond your comfort zone. The farther you go, the more confidence you have. And Sherry said, we all uplift each other every day. And I think that's amazing. So I'll start with you, Oksana. What is one thing you want to say today as we close off?
What I want to say, and probably reflection or conversation on mentors and sponsors, and I think we need both. We need mentors who help women, especially to learn how to do, how to work within corporate world, how to navigate the challenges, and we also need sponsors who will then use their voice, their authoritative voice, to promote women, to elevate women in the corporate environment. So that's kind of the pledge for everyone out there, to be a mentor and a sponsor going forward.
Yeah, what I would like to say, fostering a diverse and inclusive culture is a really continuous journey. And I would like to take the opportunity to thank everyone which is contributing this, putting effort into this. And I would like to keep this really going on, saying, let's create the magic of more inclusive and thriving workplace together.
Totally agree with that, and also there is a beauty in supporting each other. So we women, we need to be there for one another, really to support each other, to cheer one another. And an employee resource group, Tiffany contributes with that. So if you see a gap, stand in, stand up, do what you can. Of course, you cannot do everything, but anything you can do, I can only encourage you. Please do it. The younger generations, they need role models. There are many women out there. They need someone to show the way. So yeah, please step in. And the company will be thankful because, as we said, inclusion, so the gender diversity is good for you, for your well-being, for your confidence, as Michelle was writing. Gender diversity is good for you, is good for the company, it's good for the business. And I think the HR colleagues, they realize that. And before maybe I close, I would also like to thank my sponsor, Mr. Grosch, our board of management of Bosch, for their support. We met with him recently, and he said, keep going, because he sees real values for what we do with women at Bosch. And I can only encourage the others. There is really a positive side. There is really value in what we do as ERG. So keep going.
Oh, thank you so much for all your lovely words and very inspiring words. I'm also very inspired, and I believe that I learned what each and every one of you is doing. And I think everybody who is watching today can take a page from your book and just say, okay, either they're doing more or they're not doing enough. So I, for myself, I'm like, okay, this was really motivated me to keep going, keep inspiring, and keep elevating one another, not just women, but everybody. Just be everyone's keeper. So completely agree. So one last person said, Happy International Day. Guadalupe de la Gaza said, And he or she said, congratulations to you all and your efforts to elevate women in the automotive industry. So with that said, I want to thank every single person who has joined today. Special thank you to Women Automotive Network for hosting this event every single year. We always learn something new, always grow, always elevate. They have, for everyone who doesn't know, please make sure you check their website out. There's so many events and so many things happen on LinkedIn as well. Thank you so much, ladies, for being here today, and goodbye.
Thank you, Beverly.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for being
Bye-bye.
our host here. Bye, everyone.